to the 20th TheSportUniverse Podcast. Number 20 is a big number. It's nice to know that we got there. I saw something that other podcasts stop at 10, so we're at 20. We just doubled it. So it's me, Brian, and I'm joined with Nick.
What's going on, guys?
So last week was basically a football podcast, but we have other things to talk about this week. We're still going to talk about football. It's going to be a little bit on the shorter end of things because we both got stuff we got to do. But let's just get right into it. The first thing I think we want to talk about is currently the Giants are playing, and Nick is not happy about them.
Yeah, the Giants are playing as we speak. They're down 28-14. Looks like it's going to end that score as well. The Giants are horrendous again. Eli Manning looks horrible. The Giants' offensive line held up decently. Eli Manning has not been making good reads nor making good throws. I think he has an interception or two on the day. The offense doesn't seem to be generating anything beyond Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley can only juke out so many people on the offensive side, but mediocre at best for the offense. And on the defensive side, it's been absolutely horrendous. We're generating no pressure. We're sending six guys to quarterback, and we're getting like one sack a game. Nobody can cover on defense. The penalties are out of control. This team is a mess, and it's kind of looking like not last year's Giants, but the year before that, where McAdoo got fired. It's looking to be one of those years again at the start. So I don't know if Sherman deserves to get fired yet. I don't know if I'm going to go there just yet, but it's been pretty terrible for the Giants.
Yeah, but yes, that's definitely true. Since I'm a Jets fan, I kind of like to hear that. I just wanted to note that
Saquon Barkley is the only highlight of the team. He's still going. If he keeps up the rate that he's going, he will win MVP in my opinion. On both game 1 and game 2, he already has over 100 rushing yards. 30 receiving yards. So if he keeps that up, he's going to have nearly 2,000 rushing yards and nearly 1,000 receiving yards. So it's going to be. If he does that, it'd be a guaranteed win for MVP. So he's still going along the lines of my MVP pick.
Your thing with Saquon Barkley is basically what I have to do every season with any team. Just hope for awards for the players and not actually anything else. One thing to take from it, the Bills. They've played the Jets and the Giants, but the Bills have been kind of impressive so far. I haven't been watching the game, but I'd imagine they're still.
The Bills don't look that great to me, to be honest with you. It looks like the Giants are horrible.
Okay, so it could just be the opponent.
If the Bills keep this up, they might be a playoff team, but they're not anywhere near Super Bowl contenders or even
I wouldn't say
conference contenders for that point.
Has Josh Allen been doing it?
Yeah, Josh Allen has been very, very good. He's been, when he's running the ball, he's been an incredible runner this game.
It was the same last week too.
He's making great reads, great throws. He's been very impressive. If Josh Allen continues to play the way he's doing, and Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, we'll get to Sam Darnold, but if Baker Mayfield continues to play not well, he might turn out as the best quarterback from last year's draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, what's up next? I guess we'll just go right into the Sam Darnold and then go to the other stuff. So, Sam Darnold has mono. When I saw that alert on my phone, I was just like, great. That's not even a football injury, and he was kissing too many girls probably. I don't know. I think he has a girlfriend, so whatever. It's just a very unfortunate situation. And they said that he's supposed to be out till week 5, which, thinking about it, it sounds bad, but that's only missing 2 games. Because
Eli Manning just threw an interception. Oh my God! I'm just gonna interrupt you real quick. I'm watching the game. Eli Manning had a receiver triple covered downfield, and he chucked it up into triple coverage and got picked. He airmailed the throw at that. Oh my God!
Oh boy!
Going back to the Giants, I want Eli to be traded for a 7th round pick. Start Daniel Jones, please.
Yeah, at this point it makes kind of sense.
What is that? He's triple covered. Oh my God! Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
No, but I agree with that. Daniel Jones should be starting. So they said he's out to week 5, but that's just missing 2 games. Obviously, tomorrow night and week 3, and then week 4 they have a bye. But it's just a really annoying situation because everyone was excited to see Sam Darnold play, and obviously because he's coming off a pretty good rookie season, and then with the combination of Le'Veon Bell. Me and Nick FaceTime when we're doing this, and he's giving the middle fingers to the TV.
They just went off sides. Like, we're down 14 points, we're going off sides. It's just, oh my God.
All right. There's nothing more to say about Sam Darnold. Obviously, I'm disappointed as a Jets fan because I want to see him improve and have more experience with playing with the team and everything. But yeah, so I don't know if I kind of have a little hope in Trevor Siemian in that he can hopefully keep the Jets afloat. But I saw yesterday that their 2 opponents that they're going to be playing are the Patriots and the Browns. So it might be an 0-3 start to the season.
Yeah, I guess I'll give my little spiel. In terms of actually getting the mono, well, we don't know the exact details of it yet, but if Sam Darnold was messing around with different females,
really?
he's got to be a lot more responsible than that. He's the face of the franchise, second-year quarterback. He's got to do better than that. If it was because of his relationship or, his girlfriend cheated on him, I don't know, something along those lines, or he's a carrier, something that was out of his control, and that's pretty unfortunate, as you said.
Yeah.
In terms of mono, if people don't know, I'll give a little brief, because mono is a little bit rarer than your average strep throat.
Yeah.
Mono, also known as mononucleosis, it kind of has similar symptoms. Almost everyone's had strep throat at some point, streptococcus. Basically, you have a fever, sore throat. It's a lot more intense than a strep throat. And I've seen it. I've had a friend who had it. He was out of school for almost 2 months. Some people it only affects 2-3 weeks. Some people it can last almost 2 months. So we'll have to see how it affects Sam Darnold. It could even affect him 2 months, but he might be able to play through it in 2 to 3 weeks. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I definitely can see why he's out. It is a very once you get mononucleosis, it takes control of you, and you could not play football while you were suffering through that illness. So it definitely makes sense that he's out. I think 2 weeks might be a little short to call it, but again, he's in really good health, so it is very possible that he might be able to play in 2 weeks. But I would say 2 weeks is definitely the shortest amount of time he'd be able to come back.
Just a sucky situation in general. I guess we'll get into the Patriots game. We have a few things to discuss. Well, first off, last I checked, it was 37-0. 43-0 now.
It's more, 43.
They're playing the Dolphins, if you didn't figure that one out. So the Dolphins are just going to see how many points they can give up this whole season. What was the score last week?
59-10.
Okay. So obviously the Patriots defense is doing very well.
I picked them up off the waiver wire.
Yes.
Just so anybody know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very smart move. I don't know why. It was on the waiver wire, you said?
Yeah, it was off the waiver wire. I picked them up last night.
Surprising.
I had the Rams defense, and I don't know where they were going against today, but it was a decent team. So I decided to pick up the Patriots defense, and it worked out pretty well.
Definitely did. The Dolphins are probably going to be like the worst team ever.
Possibly 0-16 season.
Isn't that like a thing people are saying?
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins have been absolutely terrible up until this point. No offense, no defense. They have a young core that technically should be rebuilding, but I don't know. They may have to implode harder than they already are, because I mean, I don't even think the Browns in their 0-16 season weren't even this bad.
Yeah.
This Dolphins team could be possibly one of the worst NFL teams we've ever seen put together.
I'm fine with it. So we wanted to talk about Antonio Brown. I guess since we're talking about the game, we should talk about how he's been doing. Were you watching the game?
A little bit here and there. The Patriots' offense wasn't generating too much, but Antonio Brown definitely impressed in his debut. He's actually wearing 17 for the Patriots in honor of his father, Eddie Brown, which was a little weird to see him in the number 17.
Yeah.
I think he scored a touchdown early on in the game. I actually have him in fantasy as well, so that was pretty decent. I have Tom Brady as well. He's on my bench, but I have Patrick Mahomes starting at quarterback. I think I've said this in a previous podcast, but
Smart.
so yeah, I mean the Patriots offense are going to do what the Patriot offense does. You know, they're going to be very strategic, and they're not going to put up a ton of numbers, but they're going to win football games. And their defense on the other side has had multiple sacks, interceptions, touchdowns. It's absolutely tearing the Dolphins apart.
How many points?
I want to say unsurprisingly.
How many fantasy points are they giving you?
I think we're in the 40s at this point.
Boom. Wow. Wait, is that
30s, 40s?
Is that ESPN fantasy?
Yeah, ESPN fantasy, half PPR league.
Yeah. All right. That's a lot from a defense.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing about Antonio Brown, he had rape allegations put against him. I was going to do a TheSportUniverse reacts on that, but I've done too many for Antonio Brown, so it wasn't worth it. So the whole what was the name of the trainer?
I couldn't remember. She was from college. I want to say LSU.
So, and there were rape allegations made against Antonio Brown from his trainer on multiple occasions, saying that he raped her. Rape is a very strong claim, and obviously, like, the way Antonio Brown has been acting, I wouldn't put it out, like, say that it's not true, but I hope there's, like, some evidence that she has against him. Because to make allegations like that, that's something pretty big.
I guess I'll go in a little bit about it. So I don't know if you heard, but the trainer and her legal team came with Antonio Brown for a settlement for about $2 million.
And he declined it.
And Antonio Brown actually wound up declining it.
Yeah.
And his legal team, meaning one of two things, that and it could be both, honestly, that either Antonio Brown feels confident that he didn't do it, or number two, that he did do it, and Antonio Brown's legal team knows they have very little evidence. When it comes to like a sexual assault and rape allegations and stuff like that, it's really hard to prove, especially when it's years past. How are you going to prove that? It's quite difficult unless there's text messages. But the actual incident of it happening itself is pretty tough to prove. So I feel like either Antonio Brown didn't do it, and they're confident that they'll be able to beat it, or that he did. Maybe he did do it. We don't know, and there's not enough evidence. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Look, I mean,
I'm sure Antonio Brown's legal team would love to have this go away.
Yeah.
With his reputation right now in the league.
Okay, so we had some technical difficulties. We use GarageBand. It doesn't work well sometimes. So we were talking about the Antonio Brown rape allegations. Yeah, I mean, for Antonio Brown, this was like, not Antonio Brown, for the trainer, it was like the perfect time to bring up these allegations, considering what's been going on with him and the way everyone looks at him right now. But I really hope it wasn't just like her trying to get something out of him, because there's been a history of that too. I guess we'll go into baseball now. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the Mets first. So, the Mets are once again have somehow gotten themselves back into the playoff hunt. I mean, last week, they had, was it last week? They had like a big implosion against the Nationals that they lost in the ninth inning. I forgot what the score was, but they're up by at least 6-7 runs, and they lost it in the ninth inning, and that put them like 5 games out. And at that point, everyone was saying, okay, this is the end of the season. It was a nice run. It was very fun to see them do things again. But come a week later, they're back in it. I think they're 3 games out right now with 17 games left. So it's definitely a tight race for them right now. They're playing the Dodgers, which is a very tough series for them, considering the Dodgers are the best team in the NL. Not the best team in baseball, but very close. So hopefully they can keep winning. Break Aaron Judge's record. I know that's going to upset Nick, but he's a Yankees fan, so I don't really care. And that's basically it. Actually, no, it's not it. Jacob deGrom's making a bid for another Cy Young award this year. I don't know if he's going to get it. There's a lot of really good pitchers, and it's kind of similar to what happened last year. He's kind of stuck in between a lot of other pitchers for the Cy Young award. But that's the situation with the Mets right now. Some exciting baseball, which is fun.
In terms of the Yankees are doing the Yankees 7-3 in the last 10. In terms of injuries, obviously the Yankees have been playing with them the entire season. You know, we've had a ton. I think Sabathia's kind of a player to highlight. He's been on and off. This man's ready to retire, but he's going to keep it going to hopefully, you know, win the Yankees a World Series. The Yankees still have the best record in baseball at 98-52. They're very close to clinching a playoff spot. I know the Braves and another team clinched the playoff spot today.
Braves.
Who was it?
The Braves did. I don't know the other team.
The Braves and the Dodgers did.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
So there's not much to talk about, you know, in terms of the Yankees, but you know, gonna keep pushing. And it's almost playoff time.
Yeah,
not too right around the corner.
October baseball. So that's baseball news. For the NBA, we wanted to talk about, I don't know for how long, but Team USA lost to France because of the great player Frank Ntilikina. Obviously, both of us being from New York, we have our experience with somewhat rooting for Frank Ntilikina. A lot of people, I feel like, are making a bigger deal than it is. He literally only had 11 points. He did do lockdown defense, but that was what he's always been good at. He had 11 points. He did have 2 clutch threes. I don't think it's going to prove into anything in the actual NBA, except maybe he'll have a little bit more confidence, which might help. But at this point, I'm kind of don't have any real faith in Frank Ntilikina. I don't know if Nick has any different view about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm primarily a Rockets fan, but definitely secondarily a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I didn't really have faith in Frank Ntilikina since the day he got here, to be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
I always saw him as, you know, since the day he stepped on a New York Knicks court. I never saw him more than anything like Andre Roberson, you know, defensive type specialist player, but it doesn't seem like he's even good enough to do that. So, you know, I think he can shine on the French team, but the New York Knicks, he'll continue to be bad.
It's nice to see him have his good moments, though.
Yeah.
So was it today when the finals? Or was it yesterday?
Was it today or yesterday?
Okay, well,
I can't remember.
Spain won it all against
Argentina.
I don't know, there's not really much. I don't know if you actually watched the game, but
I didn't. But you know, I heard well, it's good. You know, Marc Gasol, Ricky Rubio kind of lead the team, and interesting for Marc Gasol. He's now a FIBA World Cup champion as well as a world champion technically through the NBA. Yeah. So through the Raptors. So he's having a pretty good year for himself.
Yeah, that's true. Is that it was a different team that ended up winning the FIBA thing. So yeah. Next up is college football. If Nick wants to talk about that.
Sure. I just wanted to go through the highlights. It wasn't a very eventful week for college football. Not too many. There wasn't any like large upsets or anything like that. I just wanted to note that Clemson, LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama, they all won. Those are the top 5 seeds in college football right now. Clemson at 1, Bama at 2, Georgia at 3, LSU at 4, and Oklahoma fighting for that 4 spot. We'll have to see who wins it by the end of the season. In terms of notable players, sorry guys, with these, we definitely had some GarageBand keeps crashing for some reason. But in terms of notable players, Jalen Hurts, he performed extremely well again in Oklahoma. Big runs, great reads, all nine. He performed extremely well. He's my pick for Heisman, and it seems like he's definitely building a case for himself. I guess on a smaller note, I'm from Villanova. I'm currently a student at Villanova. So Villanova destroyed Bucknell last night. I think the score was like 45-10 or something like that. So it was a pretty good win. So yeah, I just wanted a quick note on college football. Again, it wasn't too big of an exciting week. There weren't any like great upsets or anything to really look out for. I guess parading into our final section of the week or of the podcast, because we definitely have a busy weekend. I just want to talk a little bit about soccer. Just wanted to highlight 2 games. I'm going to try to incorporate soccer as I go. Just to expand our reach a little bit, but I'm not huge into soccer. I just watched a little bit because of my roommates. Arsenal wind up tying 2-2 with Watford today. It was a pretty big game for Arsenal, because if they won, they would have been in 3rd place, but they lost, would have been in 6th. They ended up tying. Kind of leaves them right where they were. And this all happened because of yesterday. Man City wound up losing 3-1 to Norwich, or 3-2 to Norwich. And that was kind of a pretty decently big upset. It dropped Man City down a few spots in terms of the Premier League standings, and so that's all about I gotta say for soccer.
All right. So that's it. Nick, if you have any final words.
Sure. This week we were kind of busy, especially Brian a little bit more than me, but
yeah.
Let's go with the usual. This podcast is a work in progress. We're gonna keep trying to do it. Hopefully, getting positive feedback. Contact me at nick.horvath on Instagram or nicholas.horvath10@yahoo.com if you have any comments, questions, concerns. One of our videos, our KD pop-out video, you guys go check it out. It hit 10,000 views over this past week.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Our channel's growing, views are growing, subscribers are growing, so it's a pretty fun sight to see. I hope you guys continue to join these podcasts, and I'll hand it over to Brian.
One big takeaway from this podcast is how bad GarageBand has been. So if you have any recommendations for what to use on a Mac, I've noticed there's not that many other things that I could use besides GarageBand, but if you have any things, comment them below. We'll be back next week. Let us know what you thought about this, and if you have any comments, concerns, questions. Check out our videos on YouTube. I think Julio Jones is on Monday. And then Sport Universe Reacts Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Highlight videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then the podcast on the weekend. If you have any interest in writing for us or editing videos, contact us at TheSportUniverse2019@gmail.com. And also, if you have any ideas about what to do about our Instagram, that would be also much appreciated. And thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye.